I'm a security analyst at LexFintech. So today I'm in front of you to present or give a brief intro about how security can be implemented at a very significantly low amount, and also it has a very high impact on your startups, where it could be or will be equal to as the organizations or like the multinations companies that you see around are using. So there is a myth. Basically, there is a myth that security is only for the Fortune 500 companies or like the most successful companies or who has balance sheets and all. So that's not the truth that you have to think about. So the main thing after registering your company is to get a domain, right? Everyone has their, if anyone has their own startups or anything, you guys have domain, right? So you have to host your application at somewhere else. Like you will be creating your MVP to show you to show the pitch deck to the investors and all. So what if I say, or any guy in this room could say that uh, your systems or your users that you're in under your startup is not very secured, or they may lead to this entire application may lead to a breach where this your entire user base or customer base is being taken out. So there are very few steps that you have to make sure before you go deep into the tech. As many of the guys here are students, I'll be going a little bit into tech, but not at the same time not very deep, but so that every audience could understand. So the first thing and the most major thing that you have to invest is a server or a workstation or at least a CPU, as a matter of fact. So in these three things, you have to basically give out according to your budget, right? So the first thing, the server, which costs around 1 to 2 point lakhs or something around like that. So next is a workstation. You could basically purchase it around 60,000 or 40,000 or something like that, or a CPU where it's laying in your door room or in the basement that you're in your homes. So this any of the thing could work. Like basic specs would be 6 GB or 8 GB RAM and 500 GB storage or 1 TB storage or something like that. And the processor could be anywhere from i5, Ryzen 7 or Xenon processors or you name it. You guys know, right? So this is the only investment that is required for you to make sure that your application is hosted inside that machine itself. So basically, what happens is your ISP provider like Airtel Extreme or Act Fiber or Geo, anyone that you took subscription for. So what they basically give you is a access to the internet. Okay, they will not be giving you a public IP. In fact, they will give you a public IP, but it's not a static one. It's a dynamic one, entirely dynamic one. It can be basically anywhere from around your first three octets. I'm not going into deep tech, but the last digits will only be changed in your IP address. Like this entire IP will be given to the region that you're in, or the ISP provider that you have taken. Okay, so industry levels that these people take, the ISP provider these people take, is very different from what you are getting in your home networks. They'll be having a specific static IP that these guys get. So what is the difference between the public IP that you are getting on ISP and the industrial IPs? It will be static, and the home network that you are getting is a dynamic one, which changes. So if you are hosting any application in your server or CPU, I'll be naming it as a server. Okay, hosting it in a server. So what basically happens is, if your IP keeps on changing, how would a person who is browsing your application would know that this is the particular address you have to reach out, right? So the public address should be very static, not dynamic, so that a person could reach out to your servers directly to get your application onto his mobile phone. So to break this ice, we have something called Cloudflare. Please keep note of, it's very important, so that you don't basically get basically forget it. So one thing is Cloudflare. Everyone know the Cloudflare, right? RE at the end. It's Cloudflared. REED. What basically does is it gives you a tunnel kind of thing where irrespective to the IP that you are getting from your ISP, it bypasses it and gives you a static address from that particular site that Cloudflare is giving. Okay, got my point? So this would be something very related to Cloudflare. uh, and after completing this, you have basically got a step further, but basically, and it is also free to use, and anyone could use in your servers and all. After completing this step, you are basically a bit exposed to the internet. Okay, so you should not be exposed to the internet without any security or measures that you have to take care of, right? So you have to install a VPN. What is a VPN? Everyone knows, I guess. Like, it's a virtual private network. It's basically making sure that your server or computers get into separate network, and only those communications could work without any other devices come into that picture, right? So everyone has an idea. I'm moving forward. So to make sure that VPN is inculcated or included in your server or anything, there are multiple options, OpenVPN and all. So I would recommend Tailscale, as they are giving out 3 to 4 users for free, and I think more than 3 users would not be using in a current startup, because most of the cases server could be handled only between 3 people or 4 people. So yeah, another option is Tailscale. What it gives you is basically a platform where only a selected people could get into the server's network. I think everyone got a basic idea about what I'm talking about. Like, only a 3 to 4 people can access your server internally, not from external source. I'm talking about the internal on-prem case of scenario. So what it basically does is to make sure that a private network is inside it, so the internet cannot basically access your server by via the ports that you are getting from a IP address. So this is another part. So the on-prem, converting your CPU or server into industry grade, installing Linux is one of the main thing, and the second thing is the VPN, and the third thing that we are talking about is GitHub Actions. Every student know what a GitHub is, right? Basically, to manage your code and make sure that it has very in between your developers and your founders and everything. So when a person pushes to the particular GitHub repo, is it would be very easy, or it would be very what to say, like, the best thing that could go is to check the security that inside your code is completely into the network or not, right? So for example, let's say you're using a JavaScript package or Node.js package, which is very low in your system organization or in your project, where it's a dependency. It uses something around 13.0 and the updated version is 19. Okay, when these downgraded versions are used in your like GitHub code, if you could get like a very easy connecting or a notification stating that this is the vulnerability that it has, and the security score will be getting around on a basis of 10, around 7 8 is a medium, and more than 9 is a critical one. So what we are basically doing is we have to use GitHub Actions, so that the code that you are pushing into a branch, or the main branch that if take for an instance, if you're pushing it to that particular branch, you have to make sure that these security checks are not inculcated inside your code or not. So you could use GitHub Actions and connecting it to your Tailscale, so that a basic DevSecOps could be included in your organization. So take a scenario, a developer in your organization developed the code, pushed it to a branch, and a action is been already given, so that it connects to the Tailscale and deploy it directly. After committing that particular branch, that particular uh, programmer could see that what are the packages that could be upgraded, so that these security features could be implemented in your organization without getting into trouble, like the future trouble that I'm talking about. And after completing the entire checks, and this could be deployed into the internet. So basically, you're getting a on-prem security by using VPN, and a low level cost server, and basic DevSecOps, so that you could basically make sure that your code is completely very secured when compared to the previous, that nothing on nothing that you are talking about. So when compared to cloud or relatively something, definitely cloud has a bigger upper hand when compared to on-prem. But the cloud services that you are talking about may or may not include security features, and at the same time it may cost definitely out of your budget, because we are talking about startups that is not very friendly with the budgets and all. So you can basically take this into a further next step, like you could basically give out SaaS testing on your application. It's basically a action pipeline, right? You can include SaaS testing and dynamic testing, security testing, or using Zap, and later you could basically use GitHub Actions or Snake or related to something like that. So these is the basic things that you could implement in your startup, so that you guys or the startup could be more secured. So any doubts regarding what you're talking about? So thank you.